Too often, I'll say bare-faced lies. I'll say bare-faced lies. I'll say bare-faced lies. Again, bare-faced lies. Too often, I'll say bare-faced lies. I'll say bare-faced lies. Bare-faced lies. Again.
That's right, yeah, we got an agenda. And it's your money we're gonna spend, yeah. Do you wonder where it's all gonna end, yeah? Do you think we ever wanna defend, yeah? 'Cause when the truth becomes so easy to disguise, you get shooting cold, overgrown, postal phone, bare-faced lies.
Bare-faced lies. Bare-faced lies.
Hey son, you got a party, got that little party going on there. Keep to the left, you can't think right, so everything you do goes wrong, yeah. Incompetence just leads to disaster. Corruption brings it on even faster. What you say?
That's right, yeah, we got an agenda. And it's your money we're gonna spend, yeah. Do you wonder where it's all gonna end, yeah? Do you think we ever wanna defend, yeah? 'Cause when the truth becomes so easy to disguise, you get shooting cold, overgrown, postal phone, bare-faced. That's right, yeah, we got an agenda. And it's your money we're gonna spend, yeah. Do you wonder where it's all gonna end, yeah? Do you think we ever wanna defend, yeah? 'Cause when the truth becomes so easy to disguise, you get shooting cold, overgrown, postal phone, bare-faced lies.
Bare-faced lies. Bare-faced lies.
Comrades, you always told us you'd build us all a new Jerusalem, yeah. You talk the talk, but when you walk, you only leave a crooked line there. And you don't see the trouble that's brewing if all you do is just what you're doing.
That's right, yeah, we got an agenda. And it's your money we're gonna spend, yeah. Do you wonder where it's all gonna end, yeah? Do you think we ever wanna defend, yeah? 'Cause when the truth becomes so easy to disguise, you get shooting cold, overgrown, postal phone, bare-faced lies.
Is this where you wanna be? Debt and childhood poverty. Will somebody set us free from this corrupt kleptocracy? Oh yeah.
Bare-faced lies.
That's right, yeah, we got an agenda. And it's your money we're gonna spend, yeah. Do you wonder where it's all gonna end, yeah? Do you think we ever wanna defend, yeah? 'Cause when the truth becomes so easy to disguise, you get shooting cold, overgrown, postal phone, bare-faced. That's right, yeah, we got an agenda. And it's your money we're gonna spend, yeah. Do you wonder where it's all gonna end, yeah? Do you think we ever wanna defend, yeah? 'Cause when the truth becomes so easy to disguise, you get shooting cold, overgrown, postal phone, bare-faced. That's right, yeah, we got an agenda. And it's your money we're gonna spend, yeah. Do you wonder where it's all gonna end, yeah? Do you think we ever wanna defend, yeah? 'Cause when the truth becomes so easy to disguise, you get shooting cold, overgrown, postal phone, bare-faced. That's right, yeah, we got an agenda. And it's your money we're gonna spend, yeah. Do you wonder where it's all gonna end, yeah? Do you think we ever wanna defend, yeah? 'Cause when the truth becomes so easy to disguise, you get shooting cold, overgrown, postal phone, bare-faced.
Do not fear them. Do not fear any of them. On the 20th of November 2003, James Ignatius O'Rourke McMahon was elected councillor for the Failsworth East Ward of Oldham. Deeply ambitious, he ruthlessly rose to power, and by 2011 he was already leader of the council. In 2015, exploiting a Labour Party loophole, he became MP for Oldham West and Royton. If only the people of the town knew then what they now know. Do not fear them. Do not fear any of them.
Very, very good evening, Sunday the 13th of July 2025. My name is Raja Mia. This is one of those Reckies at 9 transmissions. We're coming to the end of our sequence of transmissions before the summer break. I think we have 2 more, possibly 3 to push, 2 more left, and I needed to remind myself there is a meal on the last Monday of July, and there is a link somewhere, so please, you've all been sent the link by email, the Red Wall and the Rabble supporters, so please, there are some spaces left. I think we're just over half full, so if anyone else wants a meal on me, by all means go and sign yourself up, and I'd love to see you there. So let's start with this. Made very little news, which I found interesting. Made very little news. In particular, GB News didn't really pick up on it. Charlie Peters didn't pick up on it, so I'm not sure why. Maybe he's busy elsewhere, or as these things play out, it's clear to me that there's waves of interest, and people get bored of it, and then they come back and they get bored of it. We are where we are because we've never been bored of it, and we've been relentlessly campaigning on behalf of it, which is why I always pick up on these stories. So, Calderdale Council, West Yorkshire Police. So this is a press release from West Yorkshire Police, and you can see it's Tuesday the 8th of July 2025. Police have arrested 16 people as part of an ongoing investigation into non-recent child sexual abuse in Calderdale. 15 men and a woman aged between 39 and 73 have been arrested from addresses in Halifax, Dewsbury, Oldham, Manchester and Rossendale. They've not given the breakdown of how many from where, but 16 of them have been arrested aged between 39 and 73 in addresses in Halifax, Dewsbury, Oldham, Manchester and Rossendale. They have all been interviewed and either been released under investigation or bailed pending further inquiries. The offences are reported to have occurred in the Calderdale area between 2000 and 2004 and relate to 2 female victims. Detective Chief Inspector Claire Smith of Calderdale District Police said, "This investigation forms part of West Yorkshire Police's commitment to the investigation of both current and non-recent sexual offences against children. We would urge anyone who has been a victim of sexual abuse, no matter the time past, to report it to the police. Please be assured that you will be listened to, taken seriously and supported by professionals with experience of dealing with these kinds of offences." So, if you were gang raped in 2000, it just takes the police 25 years to listen to you, it appears. Yep. It appears so. So you can believe the police if you want, or you can perhaps believe that this is taking place because they have been forced to. And I'm most definitely sure they have the experience. The experience at what exactly, I think, is the question. Right. Let that clear off the screen. I'll share with you some information on the history of Calderdale. People say Bradford, Birmingham. They come up with their names and say this is the epicenter, this is the epicenter, that's the epicenter. Well, I think there are so many epicenters to this scandal. But when it comes to Calderdale, there is a track record, there's some history. And I will get to that in a moment. If you are new to me, if you're one of the 400 of you who are here this evening, if you are new to me, please do consider signing up to Red Wall and the Rabble. I would very much welcome all the support I can get. Signing up, my newsletter, all of my work is 100% free. So you just sign up, please. In an ideal world, we will get to 10,000 subscribers as soon as possible. And the later we get there, the less likely we are going to have an impact, in my opinion. So if you're here, and unfortunately in this world, numbers do matter. In this world of campaigning and pressure, numbers do matter. So whilst the viewing figures are actually in the millions this month, and I'll bring that up later, the sign-up figures are very, very low. So if I get dejected, it's because I'm at this every day of the week, and we're just not getting the sign-ups, even though people are consuming the content. If you weren't consuming the content, then I'd think, okay, fair enough, I'm doing something wrong. But if you're consuming the content, all of the work is free. There's no reason why you shouldn't be signed up to Red Wall and the Rabble. So there's the link, redwallandtherabble.co.uk. And if you're feeling generous, you can buy me a coffee. I think they're at £3, and even if you can't afford that £3, there's a PayPal link. You can even send me £1 or 50 pence or whatever you want. I am 100% community funded, and it does make a massive, massive difference. Are you late, Pauline? I'm just reading some comments. I don't think you're that late. I'm just saying my hellos. So, last week you'll recall I shared a video with you where I think his name's Paul Robinson. He might be. He supports me actually, so I'm not sure why he's doing what he's doing. As a reform secretary, treasurer at a reform meeting in Oldham, clearly made reference to me being blacklisted and attacked anyone who was linked with me. I mean, that's a matter of fact. There's a video of since we released the video, he's apparently resigned, but now he's back. I'm not sure what's going on there, so it makes no difference to me whatsoever, so we're clear. Unfortunately, this then transpired. I'm heading to Barrow, as you can see, platform 14, and I pay my way myself. With your support, I pay my way, and I travel the country speaking at events. People ask me, and I say yes. I try and say yes. I refuse to take any money, and I head to these places to meet with survivors and their families, and to speak at events and inspire people. I believe, inspire people that we can make a difference. They're not racist for speaking out. There is a way through this where we hold the government and the politicians accountable. We secure justice for the survivors, and we put in place the safeguards we need to make sure this never happens again. And to that question, 100%. Blackburn's 100% on the list, mate. I take no joy in telling you that, but Blackburn's 100% on the list. So, I'm heading to Barrow. Long-standing commitment to speak at a reform meeting. There's people from Barrow and across Cumbria attending. I get a text message in the morning. I'm smiling. Kind of like, do you need picking up from the train station? And it was also, are you still coming sort of thing. But yeah, you know, if I've given you my word, I will be there. I don't think anyone's ever going to come along and say Raja's missed a meeting. It's not in my DNA. If I've given you my word, I'll be there. And if I've messed it up, because if, you know, I've no longer got a secretary or anything, all I ask the people is just nudge me in the morning, nudge me a couple of days beforehand, just Raja, you're booked here, and I'll be there. And I've been there, and that's been the story of my campaigning now for 6 years, 7 years. That's what I do. So, by the way, what a beautiful train journey. You're right, Tony. What a beautiful train journey. Absolutely spectacular train journey. Yeah, the views are definitely to die for. So there I am, on the way to Barrow. And I wrote an article. I wrote a lovely piece, I think, and it was shared. It was shared with you the other day. If you've not read it, please do go and read it. Let me try and find it so I can just show it you. I'll get to that later. Where are we? Here. The Calderdale cover-up exposes yet more cracks. So that's the piece I wrote on the train to Barrow. And when I get there, I'm going to play this in a second. I want you to watch this. And it is a clear demonstration, because Barrow doesn't have Asian cartels in the same way a bloc vote, but it just looks as though it's nothing other than an organised crime group responsible for the rape gangs. And there are rape gangs there. You heard about the story to do with Ellie, I forget her surname, who was convicted for making it up. We'll put her to one side. There are victims of grooming gangs, confirmed victims of grooming gangs there. Thank you, Jen. I'm really, really grateful. I'm sorry it's not come up properly because I've not got this properly set up. So please, thank you for that. I'll put that back up so people see it. So, organised crime group. I think it's Bangladeshi there, with some Pakistani links as well. Organised crime group also use ice cream vans as a mechanism for their grooming and gang raping operations. And there's a guy who seems central to this organised crime group, and he boasts online, and someone shared this with me, and I thought, nah, that can't be true. And like, yeah, it is, Roger, this is true. So I'm going to play it, and I want you to watch it first and foremost.
So let's first take a look from his own words, what he said.
You've got a lot to answer.
What can I say? I have sniffed cocaine with a counsellor. It's shocking. It's absolutely shocking. I'm saying it.
One of the problems that you have with a guy like this is there's a treasure trove of statements that he makes that a prosecutor can use to impeach him with if he ever decides to testify.
But, Barrow Council, you're corrupt. Simon Fell, all backhanders in this council, all dodgy backhanders, handshakes like this town. Like I put them windows in the King Alfred, they've got 2 windows on the back building. I never ever sniffed cocaine with a counsellor. I'm saying it. Got planning permission. It's a fact.
That is a form of self-snitching. That indicates that there's things out there that are illegal that he's done.
Barrow Council,
You're corrupt.
backhanders,
You've got a lot to answer.
you're corrupt. I have given free meals and drink to the licensing in Barrow in fairness.
That is a form of self-snitching. That indicates that there's things out there that are illegal that he's done.
I have bribed them. Yes, I have sniffed cocaine with a counsellor. I'm saying it.
There's a treasure trove of statements that he makes that a prosecutor can use to impeach him with if he ever decides to testify.
They have taken corruption from me.
You've got a lot to answer.
Backhanders. I am telling you, I have bribes. Right? Back when I had the restaurants and bars, you all took corruption. free drinks, free meals, that's bribes.
I'm hiding shit.
I have bribed them. Yes, and you lot know, and I know. I ran the George without a booze license for 2 weeks.
This is how law enforcement involvement with him starts.
Bribes. I ran the George pub when I took over, when it was closed. I ran it without a premises license of alcohol for 2 weeks. You've got a lot to answer to.
You've got a lot to answer to.
You crazy idiots. I drink bitter. I drink bitter. I drink bitter. And bit by bit, they have taken corruption from me. I'm bringing it. Remember that? And I had cameras.
You've got a lot to answer to.
Good news, but I have bribed them. Then why not put that in your report? One evening, John Murphy was the mayor. I gave him 3 pints of bitters, and that's how I got the planning permission, and nobody even bothered to come and check it.
You've got a lot to answer to.
I ran the George for 2 weeks without a premises license. I used to Peter something, he was called, the licensing officer. You've all had it off me. I used to give him free meals and a wink and a nudge. But I have bribed them. Right? You've all had it off me. Right? All of you. You've had bottles of wine. If you're a councillor, it's a bribe. Right? And a wink and a nudge. I'm saying it.
Do you get to eat? Do you get to take a shit?
I have publicly said, and I stand by my convictions, how I have run establishments here without licenses, without boozers, zazzies. Even zazzies when we took theatres over, me and Gianni.
That is who he's got to be in order to control these women, in order to keep the money coming in.
And a wink and a nudge. For the first week there, we ran it without a transfer of a license. Right?
The video's been played about with, yeah? And to make it a bit more appealing, so we say. But everywhere I went in Barrow, this guy was made reference to, and it's clear to me that Barrow is corrupt. And the police, forget the council, also the police are corrupt. I spoke to survivors of the rape gangs, the family members, and it was clear to me that the frontline police officers cannot be trusted. The National Crime Agency genuinely needs to go to Barrow. The National Crime Agency. And I'm not saying this to scare you or worry you. It's so out of control there that the National Crime Agency needs to go in and take over the investigations. Because the grooming gang operations there, the criminality that involves an organised crime group. It doesn't involve the block vote or any of those things the way we're used to. And they're connected. I spoke to a survivor who shared with me, a survivor's family father, shared with me how only the week earlier they get at these girls through recruiting some of the family members, giving them cheap drugs, free drugs, and drawing the young girls in. And one of them even came to Oldham last week to pick up heroin, or the week before. So serious stuff, I know. Yeah, serious stuff. And I shared it, and some of these idiots, give it a big talk on X, but I'm past caring. Because what am I asking for? I'm asking for the National Crime Agency to take over. I think that's not an unreasonable request. It's not an unlawful request. And why they haven't already, I think, is because they will find too many corrupt police officers, too many corrupt council officials, and sniffing cocaine with a councillor. I think that's exactly where I'm at. So many should be behind bars now. And I'm a serious man, aren't I do the work I do. I'm a serious man, and I'm on my way to Barrow. I've got a presentation together. It's going to be about 50 or 60 people there. I get to Barrow, and the team meet me. The team, to the credit, meet me. And they can't wait to see me. And this, this is the reality of reform branches across the country. Decent local people who care passionately about where they live and have bravely stepped forward to want to be the difference. I try and avoid the high-level politics and the backstabbing, and all of that goes on in every party. I think you can clearly see in the Conservatives and Labour, and sadly also I think it goes on in Reform. I try and stay away from all of that. I'm not even a member of Reform. I just help. Where I'm asked, I go and help. And these people, brave people, step forward. And it was worth my while going there and speaking to them. And speaking to the people who turned up, who were members and volunteers, and I left and I promised them. They've got a couple of by-elections coming up in August. And I promised them that I'd go and knock on doors for them. I'd go back up and knock on doors. I'll leaflet with them. Because they took an interest in me. There's clearly survivors in their town. And they're looking to me to help. And I have a duty to help. Thank you, Denise. I try and clean myself up for, people. So, why is it that Oldham Reform, who are phoning people up desperately, trying to have me cancelled speaking in Barrow? Why is it that a serving councillor phones me up, concerned that my presentation might be cancelled because the Oldham Reform team, who have my phone number, every one of them, why are they trying to get me cancelled speaking and campaigning and doing all of the things that actually they should be doing? Why? At what point does this vendetta against me become unacceptable because they're trying to damage our campaign for justice for children? I'm not going there, and the people of Barrow will tell you. I went there to serve. I went there to help. I'll go back to help. I went there to hold the arms of survivors, their parents. What is it with you people? Why? Here is my phone. Every one of you has my number. Not once have I criticised reform, condemned reform, any of that. And when I was there to those people, when I talked about the campaign coming up, I used the language of we, because these are my people. It's outright. It's not just cowardice, Faye. They're now behaving in a way where they're attempting to scupper the work to protect and safeguard children from gang rape. And not for 1 minute is this a reform policy, by the way, that I've experienced. It's just a bunch of local idiots. But reform know what they're up to and aren't intervening. Now, This was the reform team I met with. These people. Amazing people. The best of this country. When you look at working class people, the best of this country. And isn't that disgraceful, Catherine? Blacklisted because I'll work with everyone and anyone, regardless of party. Isn't that disgraceful? No, best the guy who's got the MBE is not involved. The people who are doing this are very much white men and women. Got nothing to do with Zia, nothing to do with any of them, mate. It's to do with a bunch of white men in my town who have a vendetta against me. And I don't even think it's because I'm involved in Rupert Lowe's campaign, because it hurts me. I'll be honest with you, it hurts me because I carry enough. I carry enough. And it's disgraceful behaviour. It's disgraceful behaviour. This was me coming back. My very bearded Muslim friend Abab picked me up about 10:30. We had to wait 20 minutes or so. He had to wait for me whilst I took a photograph and accepted friend requests from everyone who was there. And it was lovely. Thank you. Thank you to my friends in Barrow. And I look forward to coming up and campaigning with you and getting as many of you elected as possible. There's 3 of you standing in a series of by-elections. One of them was a very lovely 18-year-old young woman who put a smile on my face to see someone young and so passionate want to step forward and help be the change. And I very, very much look forward to seeing all of you in. Moving on. I know that Rupert Lowe and his team have got an event on Tuesday in London. I'm not there. It's with survivors from all across the country. Sammy Woodhouse and a colleague Nat have been busy interviewing survivors from across the country. We've got survivors coming through who are willing to testify, want to testify, and I think there's a room full of them in Parliament on Tuesday. One of the reasons I'm not going is one, I'm of no use there for that. And the second reason is the room's full of survivors and parents, and so it should be. And I think what Rupert and his team have done, and Sammy and Nat have done, is they're getting people there from all across the country. And the room in Parliament will be there for MPs from all parties to come and meet survivors, come and meet their families and hear what they've got to say firsthand. It's never been done before in this way. And I think it's great that the Rape Gang Inquiry are doing that. And we should support it. Please look out for the updates on social media and share them. Maybe 1 or 2 will be brave enough to go in front of a camera, and if they do, I'll share it, and please share it, because what these people have endured, and to be able to do that at the other end, that's something extraordinary. That's a type of courage and conviction very few of us, It's easy to say it, isn't it? I doubt, very few of us would be able to do what these people are doing. So please, look out for Tuesday. And then I was, thank you, Jenny, please like, please share. And then I was, of course, gutted over the weekend. Absolutely gutted. I think it was Friday. Gutted. This event's arranged for Tuesday. Not one of the mainstream news outlets are promoting it, by the way. You know, you got survivors from across the country going to a room in Parliament to meet with MPs. And the BBC get in touch with Rupert Lowe. And they get in touch with Rupert Lowe and they do this. Hi Rupert, this is such and such a body from BBC News website. We are doing a story on the Parliamentary Standards Commissioner launching an investigation into failure to register thousands in donations from your Rape Gang Inquiry crowdfunder. Do you intend to register the donations? ? Will the investigation affect your inquiry ? Thanks. The complaint against me and our Rape Gang Inquiry has been cleared by the Parliamentary Commissioner for Standards. This complaint was a malicious attempt to shut me down and undermine our inquiry. He goes on. But what this was a hit piece. It made the Telegraph, the Daily Mail, all of them hit piece. Crowdfunder released an amount of money to Rupert Lowe. It went in the bank account as it should, and the declaration will get done within the time frame of 28 days. What they did was go after Rupert Lowe and also try and discredit the work that we're doing and the work of the meeting on Tuesday with survivors. This is the BBC with the Telegraph, all of them coordinated. Rupert clearly was upset. Sammy I've seen put out a video angry. If you'd followed my work, you'll know how the Sunday Times even came after me. Made things up maliciously in an attempt to undermine and discredit me. And now what they're doing is trying to discredit the Rape Gang Inquiry as though there's some form of dodgy dealings going on with the money. It's a complete falsehood, but as I found out, once the lie gets out, even if it's rebutted straight away, these bastards, the BBC, the Telegraph, whoever else, these bastards coordinated and tried to smear it. Smear us. Why would a man such as Rupert Lowe, who donates his entire monthly salary as an MP to charity, why would he raise £600,000 and pocket that? For a Rape Gang Inquiry and pocket that. He's a millionaire in his own right, but why would he raise that money and pocket that? Disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. And you'll see how it's a hit job. I received this message from a BBC journalist at 9:22 a.m. The story about the now cleared investigation was published at 9:32, so they gave him 10 minutes. Immediately after the parliamentary authorities announced it. Those authorities made no reference to the Rape Gang Inquiry, yet the BBC knew. So somebody evidently briefed the BBC in advance. And they gave us almost zero chance to properly respond. Filthy journalism. Who tipped them off that it was referring to the inquiry? Who tipped them off it was coming? This is a hit job. I want a formal apology from the BBC to our rape gang inquiry urgently. They seem to be more interested in investigating our inquiry into the Pakistani rape gangs than the Pakistani rape gangs themselves. I want answers. Rupert Lowe MP. Now, I actually disagreed with Rupert on a whole host of things. But we're men. We're adults. We can work together on what we agree on. And agree to disagree on what we disagree on. It's what men do. But this is disgraceful. This is disgraceful. So there's no ambiguity on his position, and I'm so relieved. I'm not fighting this on my own anymore in this way. We are holding our inquiry into the Pakistani rape gangs. We are uncovering the truth into the Pakistani rape gangs. We are going to hold our hearings into the Pakistani rape gangs. And we're also going to publish our findings into the Pakistani rape gangs. He's got more Pakistani rape gangs in there than I ever have managed in a single post. Smears will not stop us. So I think that's very, very clear. And I think that's what it is. There's a fake liberal metropolitan elite, Gary, who don't care. They want it to continue because of their multicultural utopian aspirations and fallacy rather than the reality. And so what if a few 100,000 working class white girls get gang raped? The Calderdale story I promised to get into dinner. So I'm going to get into that now. And it was brilliant from Rupert, wasn't it, Ryan? And Ryan, tell him, you've messaged me, haven't you, Ryan? I phoned you back, didn't I? We arranged a call. And I'm coming to Wales in September. It's booked, isn't it? If you are new to me, my name is Raja Mir. In a past life, I was a government advisor. I've sat in rooms with multiple prime ministers, secretaries of state, represented our country all across the world. My area of expertise isn't YouTube or TikTok or any of those sorts of things. I actually come from a very serious world of counter-extremism. That's what I did for a long time. I came back to my hometown, Oldham, and I had thrust upon me by my dearly departed friend Warren Bates a plea to help protect the children in this town from grooming and gang rape. The evidence was there. The politicians had covered it up. I couldn't say no. And I've paid a heavy price for doing what I've been doing for the last, well, it's coming up to 7 years now. I am 100% community funded. I am extremely proud I am 100% community funded. People can call me all the names they want to do. They can smear me however they want. But by being 100% community funded means that, well, by the way, all of the work I do, anything I do on the rape gang inquiry is 100%, pro bono. I don't charge a fee. I don't charge a penny in expenses. And listen, we've got this far because a few people from my town in the main supported me. And now to get to where we need to get to, I need more of you to support me. It doesn't cost you a penny. Just sign up to Red Wall and the Rabble. Pay if you want to. Please do pay. I live on, it's through your generosity that I exist. £3 a month, £30 for the year. You can pay more if you want, but that's entirely up to you. £3 a month, £30 for the year. It's the equivalent of 75 pence. Let's talk about Rotherham. So this was the press release, yeah. Quietly released on the Tuesday. 16, but what they're admitting to here, straight away what they're admitting to, is a cross-county lines operation. Seems the children, the victims, were from Calderdale. Yep, men were arrested, individuals were arrested, 16 were arrested from Halifax, Dewsbury, Oldham and Manchester, and Rossendale. So that's clearly demonstrates that Andy Burnham and all the rest of them were wrong to approach this on a town by town basis and say there's no cover up. Well, because what we've now got here is men in Oldham, for instance, and men in Manchester. So these are two places that Burnham's assurance reviews went. They're linked to the abuse of children in Calderdale. Why is it not national news? I'll tell you why. Because it scuppers the narrative that the Labour Party in the main, with the aid of the mainstream media, who you can now clearly see after what they've done to Rupert Lowe, are partners in this. They're neck deep in the cover-up. And what they wanted to do to contain it, and what they'll try to do to contain it, is say you'll have a national inquiry with a number of local towns and cities that we'll look at independently. This clearly demonstrates you can't look at any towns independently, because these men did not operate according to local authority boundaries. Calderdale is Halifax, but let me get to that in a second, George. I'll show you. And then you need to look at the history of Calderdale. This is an article from 2016. Calderdale gang jailed for grooming and abusing girls. Here they are. There's 15 of them in this picture. 13 members of the gang were jailed on Thursday. That's in June 2016. 15 men who systematically groomed and sexually abused teenage girls in Halifax have been jailed. They were convicted of child sex offences including rape, grooming and trafficking during 3 separate trials at Leeds Crown Court. Prosecutors praised the immense courage and bravery of the 2 victims who gave evidence against these men. The longest sentence passed was 25 years in what was described as a complex and lengthy operation. The gang of men abused a young girl in Halifax and Bradford between 2009 and 2011, the Crown Prosecution Service said. Another victim was also sexually assaulted by one of the gang members. Peter Mann, head of the Complex Casework Unit at the Crown Prosecution Service for Yorkshire and Humberside, said, "These men were responsible for a range of crimes involving child sexual exploitation and abuse. One victim was sexually assaulted in a car. The second victim was groomed and systematically exploited by the older men she associated with. Some of her abusers acted together as a group, grooming her and plying her with drink and drugs. Others took advantage of her individually. West Yorkshire Police said the abuse was first reported to its officers in 2012 by the victim, who was then aged 15 and living in Halifax at the time. A second girl who came forward gave evidence against another gang member. The main victim in the case was 13 years old when she was first abused. The girl was said to have come from a chaotic, see that word again, family background, who had become addicted to drugs and alcohol during the period of the attacks, which stopped in 2011. She was eventually taken into social care. Now 21, she is living a new life with a baby miles away from Calderdale. Detectives also processed 1,848 statements. So perhaps far more in numbers. In total, 25 men were charged. During the trials, 4 defendants were cleared by a jury while 3 others were acquitted on the orders of the judge. Mr. Mann described it as a complex and lengthy operation. Here are the names. Hidar Ali, Bradford. Haider Ali, Halifax. Khalid Zaman, Bradford. Mohammed Razam, Bradford. Haris Ahmed, Halifax. Tahir Mahmood, Halifax. Takir Butt, Halifax. Amar Ali Ditta, Halifax. Azim Shubani, Halifax. Talib Sadiq, Halifax. Sikandar Malik, Halifax. Muhammad Ali Ahmed, Halifax. Aftab Hussein, Halifax. Mansour Akhtar, Huddersfield. So another local authority, yeah. Sikandar Ishaq, Halifax. Fasil Mahmood, Halifax. Farkan Ghaffar, Derby. And then someone else adjourned for next week, yeah. So this was 2016. Do you see how in 2016 they also hid from me exactly what happened? And I'm with you, mate, Jack. So we're clear. I'm completely with you. (2016). 2020. Halifax. Sorry, Calderdale again. 20 men jailed for rape and child sex abuse. Here are the likely lads. Police said the offences took place in Calderdale area between 2001 and 2010, when the girls were aged between 12 and 16. The men appeared at Bradford Crown Court in several separate trials from 2021, so this isn't the ones I've shown you before. One man, Mohammed Akhtar, was found guilty of rape and was sentenced to 11 years but died whilst serving his sentence. Mohammed Rizwan Iqbal looks very nice, bearded, mosque-looking man there, isn't he? Pious-looking man is what I meant to say. The longest sentence handed out was to Malik Kadir, 67, of Halifax, who was found guilty of 5 counts of rape and jailed for 22 years. Amir Shaban, Halifax. What the fuck is it with Halifax? I thought Halifax was this trendy, you know, lefty sort of Hebden Bridgey type of place. I only been to Halifax to go to Eureka when my daughter was younger. Amir Shaban, Halifax. Mohammed Zairab, 55, Halifax. Imran Raja Yassin, Halifax. Kamran Amin, Halifax. Saqib Hussain, Halifax. Harun Sadiq, Halifax. Shafiq Ali Rafiq, Dewsbury. Shafraz Rabnawaz, Bradford. Shazad Nawaz, Halifax. Nadim Nasir, Halifax. Sajid Adalat, Halifax. Sohail Zafar, Halifax. Shazad Nazir, Halifax. Nadim Adalat, Halifax. Asad Mahmood, Halifax. Mohammed Rizwan Iqbal, Halifax. Vasin Adalat, Halifax. Oh, it's okay. Craig Mitchell. There's a whitey there. Craig Mitchell. So there you go. There's Craig Mitchell. Halifax is no, it's a trendy sort of place. It's a trendy sort of place, isn't it? I've not got it wrong, have I? You know, it's a Hebden Bridgey sort of place. Lots of liberal folk there. Thank you, Gary. Halifax is nice. Was it on your list of places to move to, Gary? I don't doubt that. It's been going on in Halifax for over 3 decades. I don't doubt that. I like the playing words. Scalifax is a shithole. I am from there. Okay. In all seriousness, you can see why it's not possible to conduct a national inquiry into the rape gangs by having investigations, inquiries in silos in town by town, and then relying on the towns to come forward. Oh, which the council has. They want you to applaud them. Council response to national inquiry reporting to grooming gangs. So remember, 2016, loads of them convicted. 2021, more now. Never called in the government, did they? Never did what we did in Oldham, campaign. There was no one there to campaign. Call in the government. No, nothing whatsoever. But now, Calderdale Council welcomes the announcement from the government that there will be a national inquiry into child sexual exploitation in grooming gangs in England and Wales. The inquiry follows recommendations from a review carried out by Baroness Casey, examining data and evidence on the nature and scale of group-based child sexual abuse. Calderdale Council takes the issue incredibly seriously and has dedicated teams that recognise and manage the risk that children and young people could face outside their family environment. This includes safeguarding work to prevent issues such as criminal exploitation and work to prevent children going missing from home. The focus of the council's work is on putting children first, protecting them and listening to them. Absolute bullshit, of course, all of this. As well as to those who are now adults who are affected by the issues in the past, to learn from their experiences. We're learning again from lessons of the past. Leader of the Calderdale Council, Jane Scullion, that's her there. We are committed to doing our best for children and young people in Calderdale, which is why we never said anything whilst they were being gang raped. Did you, Jane? Were there any emotions on calling in the government, Jane, in Calderdale? Nah. But it's okay. In a full inspection in 2024, Ofsted inspectors noted the effective arrangements that are in place to assess children who are identified as being at potential risk of exploitation. My issue with Jane Scullion and all the other Labour Party cocks is, where's your work in the communities where these fucking scumbags come from? Where's your work in the communities that deem it appropriate to gang rape little white girls because they're white and not Muslim? Been going on for decades. Rape camp. Halifax might as well just be a rape camp. Going off the list of those names. Were. And don't for a minute believe they've caught all of them. It's just a tip of the iceberg. Or if I wanted to play with words, just a tip of a spoon from a huge barrel of mango chutney. You take care. Thank you for joining us. Halifax Council will be full of any tree-hugging, tie-dye, top-selling hippies. That's all. That's what I'm imagining. That's what I'm imagining. If you are coming new to me, please do consider signing up to Redwall and the Rabble. I do this every Sunday. I try to do this every Sunday, along with getting articles out, going and doing the work, all of that. Entirely 100% funded by you guys. And it's because of you that we're here. It's because of you that we're here. We've got this far. No one else was campaigning for a public inquiry or a national inquiry. The Conservatives weren't, so don't believe any of that nonsense. Maggie Oliver, as recently as January, was opposed to a national inquiry. Tommy Robinson, no, that's not his thing. So please support me and help get this over the line. Since we've been on, now I always get asked since we've been on, and wait for the screen to load. One person. We've had one subscription, so thank you. That's too vague for me, I'm afraid, so it doesn't mean anything. The easiest way to contact me, though, is raj@rajamir.com. You can email me. Most people can email me. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. So, thank you to the one person who's subscribed to Redwall and the Rabble from the 1911 of you. I'm very, very grateful. We'll carry on with this. Some analytics on X, where I spend most of my work actually is on X, if it's, you know, on some of the social media platforms. 5.6 million impressions. You can see we're approaching 100,000 followers. Facebook, 3.3 million views over the last 28 days. And we're at 18,000 followers. And this is YouTube, 131,000 views. You've seen some of my shorts. I know a lot of you have been asking for shorts and shorter video content. They take time. They, so far, you know, viewing figures are great, but I get the impression the vanity viewing figures, there's no translation into sign-ups, paid, free, none of that. But we'll keep it going. You know, I think we'll give it at least 3 months. We'll give it for 3 months and we'll see where that takes us. But it's not making any difference. I don't know who you are for me to read your messages, and you'll have to understand I get messages from a lot of people, so if I'm abrupt with people, it's because there's only so much I can do. Someone phoned me earlier today. It's a Sunday, by the way. Someone phoned me earlier today, wanting to know if I can help them with something to do with the council. I'm like, no, you go to your councillor if you want something to do with your council. I can't, I'm afraid. She wasn't happy, but I think you'd rather me be honest. They're not working, Jenny. People are viewing, but they're not working. They're not translating into anything meaningful. Just letting you know, they're not working. And you'd be surprised, Joanna, how people say, well, if I like your post, will I get in trouble? I mean, what do you say to that? What do you say to that? I want to play something for you, and you listen to it first, and then we'll bring it up.
Conference for many people in this city, the speech they may remember was the one here 2 years ago, because that's when I promised, or on this stage, that if I ever had the privilege to serve our country as Prime Minister, one of my first acts would be to bring in a Hillsborough law, a duty of candour. A law for Liverpool, a law for the 97, a law that people shouldn't have had to fight so hard to get, that will be delivered by this Labour government. It's also a law for the sub-postmasters in the Horizon scandal, the victims of infected blood, Windrush, Grenfell Tower, and all the countless injustices over the years suffered by working people at the hands of those who were supposed to serve them. Truth and justice concealed behind the closed ranks of the state. And Conference, this is the meaning of Clause 1. Because today I can confirm that the duty of candour will apply to public authorities and public servants. The bill will include criminal sanctions, and that the Hillsborough law will be introduced to Parliament before the next anniversary in April.
Duty of candour. That means a duty to tell the truth. They need a law for politicians and public officials to tell the truth. Well, they had a vote on the Hillsborough law 2 days ago. This is the Daily Mirror, a Labour supporting publication, wouldn't you say? MP challenges Keir Starmer over Hillsborough law as anger grows over its delay. A Liverpool MP has warned Keir Starmer, back the Hillsborough law or break your promise. I don't think there was any ambiguity as to what he promised, was there? Ian Byrne, a survivor of the 1989 disaster, warned the PM not to risk yet another betrayal of families affected by the tragedy, which claimed 97 lives. So there was a private member's bill. The Hillsborough law is here. It's ready to go. Keir Starmer now faces a choice: support this bill and keep your word, or block it and break your promise. Look what happened. The Hillsborough law was held up by Treasury resistance. Ignore the title, basically they voted against it. Starmer promised last September that the Hillsborough law would be published by April the 15th, 2025, the 36th anniversary of the 1989 disaster. He said that it would require a duty of candour for all public servants to tell the truth following delayed justice for the families of the 97 victims as a result of the cover-up by the police and other public officials. Victims' families want legal funding to be provided for those affected, but ministers are divided over how to deliver it. Shabana Mahmood, the Justice Secretary, has said that her department cannot fund the costs within existing budgets. She also warned Number 10 privately about making the scope of the bill too wide. And here we are. Absolute disgrace. Moment MP explodes as Labour blocks the Hillsborough law. Keir Starmer condemned for forcing delay to his own legislation designed to prevent repeat of Hillsborough-style tragedies. Now, why would the government block a duty to candour, a law that they promised not just for Hillsborough, but for other national scandals? He made reference to it himself. The post office scandal, Grenfell. You heard him. Why? It's not looking good, is it? It's not looking good for them. Yes, Kurt. If that law came in, it would apply to the rape gang inquiry. Thank you. Did I ever tell you, Kurt Cobain, when I was younger and far more carefree, my friends and I bought tickets to a Nirvana concert. They were coming to Manchester. And being the students we were, we bought the tickets. And then he went and killed himself. and we marched back, wanting our money back. Should have kept the tickets, actually, in hindsight, probably be worth more money. And the lad behind the ticket counter said, "It's all right, lads, they're rescheduling." So we looked at each other, scratch our heads, like, how the rescheduling? He's dead. We swapped the tickets for the WWF wrestling that were coming into town. Sorry, every now and then I need to keep myself sane, I think, in all of this. So you can clearly see the delay in the Hillsborough law. It's not, they're saying it's about money, but it's not about money. This is about delaying it so they can, circumnavigate, in my opinion, I think, and I don't think I'm the only one. They're delaying it so they can circumnavigate having the duty of candour. For MPs like Jim McMahon, Greater Manchester mayors like Andy Burnham, deputy prime ministers like Angela Rayner. Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. Okay. We have one more thing I want to share with you this evening, I think. I'll play a video, I think, two things. I can do a thing on the blasphemy law a different time, I think. I'll do something on the blasphemy law. How we got here, what it means. I've done stuff on it before, but I've not kept up to date with it. I know Nick Timothy has been campaigning about it. But I'll do something on it for you all. I'll do a video, I promise, soon. And that's the way they want you to argue it, Chloe. They want you to argue it that way. There are better ways to argue it than that. Because a word is a word. If they come up with a word, you can't, arguing it doesn't exist, or no such thing. It doesn't. We're not going to win it that way. We're not going to win it that way. A couple of videos I want to play. Oh, sorry, one video I want to play. So you see it.
They covered up the gang rape of our children, and then they tried to kill me. I did what I did, which was navigate all of this, campaign, strategize. We removed politician after politician in our town. When we started, the Labour Party had 47 of the 60 seats. They blocked every inquiry. By the time we finished last May, they were a minority administration with 27 of 60. This might sound boring, but it's important because it took us 5 years to get us to a point where we could force the council to write to the government to say there are children in Oldham that have been groomed and gang raped. It's been covered up, and we want the government to do something about it because the politicians and the policymakers in this town are complicit in the cover-up. The government refused. All hell has broken loose. And now you all know about it. But during those 5 or 6 years, to stop me campaigning, to stop me using a set of skills that I'd developed by working and advising our government, they had me repeatedly arrested, false charges, one after another, smeared in the local media, in the national media. The police came after me. Dawn raided my house repeatedly. The Labour Party tried to sue me and said, you will sign this form and stop talking, otherwise we'll take everything off you. We'll see. And I said, okay, I'll see you in the High Court. I was followed home repeatedly by Pakistani gangsters who are embedded in the Labour Party administration, not just in my town, but across towns and cities now, unfortunately. The mosques Islamic centres issued fatwas against me. They claimed I was a gay Christian convert, not because I have any issue with anyone who's gay or anyone who's Christian, but they claimed that and promoted that. I was a police informant. They published my home address, my photograph, pictures of my friends and family, all attempting to incite my murder and stop this campaign. But I look at myself every day in the mirror, James, and I'm knackered. I'm older, I'm knackered, but I can look at myself in the mirror and I'm all right with what looks back, because this was the right thing to do. They covered up the gang rape of our children, and then they tried to kill.
I watched that back. He sent it me. James English sent it me, and said, Roger, you need to watch this bit back. And it broke me. It genuinely broke me. Because I don't know if you ever do it, if you've ever, but I don't tend to watch my own content or listen to myself speak or anything like that. But yeah, have another look at what I look like at the end. And so here we are, 7 years in. Got a couple more sessions to do. I'll try and come back tomorrow and pick up on what we can actually do with the rape gang inquiry and how the public inquiry actually needs to operate. The terms of reference we are hoping would be published before. We are hoping would be published before Parliament recesses. I think in 10 days or so, a week on Tuesday. I think it recesses for the summer, and we've got none of that back. And let me see if I've got the tweet on that. Here we go. You can see it here. It was Nick Timothy to ask the Secretary of State for the Home Department by which date she will A, appoint a chair, and B, agree a terms of reference for the national inquiry into grooming gangs. And the answer from Jess Phillips was further details will be announced in due course. And that was the 24th of June. So I don't think you're going to get that before the summer recess, and you know they're trying to fix it. I've got stuff I can share with you, hopefully on Monday, hopefully tomorrow. I'll share with you on how the terms of reference should be. I know the Rape Gang Inquiry team have published some stuff themselves. I've had a sight of it and I agree with them. But I do what I do. And I lay out how things should be. And it's how we've got to where we've got to by me just simply using a pen and this board in front of me. This pen here. And drawing out for you. And you'll see it's common sense. Well, it's common sense if you come from that world. And they're just running rings around you and mocking you. And unfortunately, not enough people who are in the positions of power that are on our side actually understand this well enough. So, thank you very, very much to all of you. And yes, it is just the one person who signed up this evening. So, on that, I'll hopefully come back tomorrow. I'll leave it with you. A very good evening.
Do not fear them. Do not fear any of them. On the 20th of November 2003, James Ignatius O'Rourke McMahon was elected councillor for the Failsworth East Ward of Oldham. Deeply ambitious, he ruthlessly rose to power, and by 2011 he was already leader of the council. In 2015, exploiting a Labour Party loophole, he became MP for Oldham West and Royton. If only the people of the town knew then what they now know. Do not fear them. Do not fear any of them.